Hi everyone, I'm Sophie Milburn, editor of the MSP Channel Insights portfolio, and today I'm joined by Gal from AlgoSec. So could you introduce yourself, your role at the company, a bit about the company itself?
Hey, good morning. Yosef. I'm the director for sales engineering here, running the Americas team, based out in New York City. So pleasure to meet you tonight.
Perfect. Okay, we've got to start with AI. I feel like it's just a natural place to start. So how does kind of AI shaping both the threats and defenses in network security, and what practices are emerging to operationalize AI effectively?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we dive straight away. I think you really look on I'll say three levels of threats as we like to, or three levels. There's the threat, defense, and operational safety.
Mhm.
On the threat side, the report makes a very clear AI. It's very clear that AI has changed the economics of attack. It cites, and we see it surge significantly from a phishing perspective and the ability to really run now AI across phishing capabilities and stuff like that. And that's really all across the board, meaning that attackers now have a scaled tool with the speed and the polish capabilities to really run it at scale. But then on the defense side, the biggest expected impact over the next 2 years, I would say, in the AI-powered hybrid network visibility and risk prioritization. That's a key aspect of what they're looking at, followed by AI-powered compliance and policy enforcement, obviously. So they basically tied up together. So the safety way to operationalize AI is not just to jump straight to autonomy, but it's to start with the visibility and understanding what are those tools and capabilities, adding policy hygiene on top of that, and then with a repeatable enforcement to keep the human within the loop in the core decision making. And that basically wrapped it up into a whole complete process that you can run over it again.
Fantastic. That was a great overview. Thank you so much. There's also, we're seeing a shift towards kind of cloud firewall consolidation. How can organizations unify policies around this multi-cloud environment also that you kind of mentioned now?
Yeah, so the firewall story is, it's something that we've seen evolving throughout the years. And in this report, it's all about regaining control. After years of adding tools and vendors and organization, today are no longer asking to expand the coverage everywhere. They are asking how to simplify management without losing flexibility. This is how we see numbers such as like 30% the plan to expand in multi-vendor environments,
Mm.
24% plan to consolidate to fewer vendors, 22% intend to maintain their current mix,
Mm.
and 24 expect to move primarily to cloud firewalls. So we see more and more of those cloud native capabilities, cloud native firewalls. So this is not simple march towards one vendor. In the enterprise scale environment, it's unlikely that we will see a single vendor shop for an enterprise. It just simply doesn't match the reality. So it's a balance or a rebalance between the two. The report language is very clear that we see real consolidation, and it's happening at the management layer mostly. So there is a need for more consistency in the middle, more visibility at the top, and still some choice at the edge. In practical terms, that means that one management platform, one application-centric source of truth,
Mm.
one policy model, and then automated translation enforcement across AWS, Azure, GCP, and the on-prem, obviously, into the hybrid network mesh that we have.
Amazing. That kind of helps with all those things like tool sprawl. I feel like I'm having a million conversations about tool sprawl, particularly for MSPs at the moment. So sounds like that kind of fits in there.
Yeah, exactly.
With security now being a key factor in cloud platform selection, how are organizations kind of looking to balance compliance, risk, and operational efficiency? Because there's kind of a lot to get into one there.
So what changed according to the report is that platform selection has stopped being mainly a performance and cost conversation. So we're not looking only on which is the fastest or the most scalable and things of that nature, but we are now looking at it more from a security first decision with an
Yeah.
operational lens. So the strongest number that we see in the report is almost 55% of them that ask for security capabilities when looking into which cloud vendor to lean towards. And then we see that expanding to more, I would say, factors that we are looking into. We see different reasons from a technical and from a business perspective that really impact the decision making on which cloud vendor we should lean towards. But the balance is today is to choosing the platform that with the strongest native controls and integration, place sensitive workloads where compliance security are strongest. So that is definitely a core aspect that those vendors are looking after. And then they're expanding it, and it depends between each one of the vendors and their own local need in terms of governance, in terms of consolidation, and so on.
Amazing. I feel like we have touched on my next question slightly, but I'll ask it anyway. Would be how are companies using tools like AlgoSec to move from experimentation with automation to that real consolidation of that? And what kind of metrics indicate that success there?
So it's very simple. What tools like AlgoSec are really doing in this environment is helping organizations move from good intentions to repeatable operation discipline, which means that we basically provide the orchestration level from an application-centric approach across the board. And what we see that the report shows is that the market is ready for that step, or policies are already consolidated under a single platform or a management layer. Break that down further, and you see the maturity curve basically at about 30% with partial consolidation, 90% to the majority of their environment consolidated. And then we see some that will already got into a full consolidation. Um, Team structure also change, and that is significant, meaning that we see more and more of those teams that we are working with taking or regaining some level of responsibilities in certain areas. So we see the traditional network security team now regaining capabilities and control into the cloud side of things, and vice versa as well. So it really depends on the organization. But I think that shift is also quite significant. And to make the long story short, that's exactly where AlgoSec positioned itself in the report as well. It's an AI-driven discovery across multi-cloud capabilities with intelligent change automation and business outcomes like up to 10x faster application delivery, which is significant for organization. The right metrics, then are not just a technical one, but also from a business context and our ability to help reduction of and cleanup of rules and things of that nature. And from an operational perspective, obviously, we have more efficient dashboards, faster change cycles, and more centrally managed policy, which caused eventually to have fewer incidents and misconfiguration on the customer side, which is critical for the security perspective as well. So that is as a high level.
Amazing. With kind of there is so much change happening and so much shifting. What are you kind of personally, I guess, looking forward to in the channel in 2026 and the next few years to come?
So I think the biggest question is how organizations will continue to implement AI as a disruptive technology that now gives us stronger tools to run with. It doesn't replace the existing one, but it just gives us more capabilities to scale at 10x, 50x, and to really run that in a more automated way. And I think that organizations that will be wise to adopt that and implement that as part of the processes that they have will be the one that will be able to step ahead of their competition.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for your time today. That's all my questions.
Yeah, thank you very much.